Hey guys, happy Tuesday. How time flies when you're having fun. First week of 2018 in the books. We're on day 9. And I wanted to shoot a quick video to share with you guys my top 10 takeaways from 2017. And I wanted to share them with you to inspire you and support you if you're still on your journey of discovering what you want to create for 2018. And so with that, the top 10 are, first and foremost, my takeaway from 2017 is to have fun. And I'll speak into each one of them so you get a feel and context. So sometimes we take life very, very seriously, and we don't really take moments in life where we're enjoying and savoring these moments. And so having fun is a critical part of, from my experience, a critical part of living life is really tapping into, what's fun, making it playful, making it exciting, right? And so if there's some area of your life that you feel like it's stagnant, or you're stuck, or you're not really sure where to go with it, then ask yourself, how can you incorporate fun in there? And that might open up a whole new world for you, having fun. The other thing, number 2, second takeaway I got from last year was asking for support when I didn't feel like it. And I will tell you that I've been, for many years, I've been a lone wolf. And what that looks like is being someone who gets things done by myself. Don't necessarily reach out to people for support, and that doesn't serve. It doesn't serve you. It didn't serve me that well in areas of my life, because we are designed to be in a team, and we're designed to be with other people. And so being by yourself doesn't really work. If you're a lone wolf, what ends up happening is, if you're a wolf by yourself, a lone wolf ends up dying. A wolf is designed to be in a pack, and we as human beings, we're all designed to be together, right? And so if you're someone who is a lone wolf, then ask yourself, well, how can I you get where you want to go faster when you're with a team, and you're with people that you trust, and people that you love, and people who've got your back and they're on your side, right? And so ask for support even when you don't feel like it, right? Because that's where the opportunities come up, and that's actually where your breakthroughs will come from, is from asking for support. And I might even do a different video about asking for support at a later time if it warrants further conversation. My third takeaway is taking huge risks no matter what, even if it doesn't make sense. And I've learned from my experiences, taking huge risks gives me an opportunity to expand and grow as a human being and as a person. And when my mind says, no, you can't do it, this is hard, this is not going to work, you don't have the means, all that conversation that goes on in your head. I have those conversations too. And so my invitation to you is to really, really step into what your vision is and what you want to create, and not let the conversation stop you, and really step into taking a big risk and huge risk, because taking risks, with high risks comes high rewards, right? And if you don't take any risks, you're not really going to go a lot of places in life. So take risks, okay? Take risks and follow your heart. And my advice to you on that is connect with your heart when you're taking risks. Like, really, really connect with your heart. My fourth takeaway is showing up in all areas of my life and not being selective. And what I mean by that is showing up as in really showing up, right? Like there was a moment or time in 2017 where I wasn't showing up for my well-being, my health, right? In terms of working out, etc. We're all human, right? And so showing up in all areas. So asking yourself, are you showing up in every area of your life? Are you showing up for your family? Are you showing up for yourself? yourself? Are you showing up for your friends? Are you showing up for your commitments? Are you showing up for your vision? Are you showing up for your community, right? So these are all questions. And if there is an area that you're not showing up in and you're not fully participating in, then I invite you to check in and ask yourself, well, is that an area that you want to continue to not participate in? Or is that an area that you want to participate in? And what can you do today? What is one action that you can take right now that will support you in support you really in showing up in that area if that area is important to you? So that is number 4. Number 5, number 5, I'll share with you what it is. It was a huge thing for me, is creating win-wins in both ends anywhere and everywhere I go. And what I mean by that is really the distinction between, hey Keisha, how's it going? The distinction between an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. So if you think about all the things that you want to do and all the things you want to accomplish, and you're like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't have the resources, think about that. Are you coming from an empowering or disempowering context? Are you coming from a space of abundance or scarcity, right? And so you can check in with yourself and ask yourself, like, where is that coming from? When you're going into every and any encounter, are you creating win-wins? In other words, are you going in thinking like, okay, I'm going to do this because I'm going to win and someone else loses, or are we all going to win in this process, right? And so what is your mindset? What do you think? Like, what is the thought process and what you're creating, right? So I was like, that was a huge aha for me last year, because I thought I was creating win-wins and I was creating both ends, and I realized I wasn't. I was actually in different areas of my life. I was in scarcity in a lot of areas of my life because I couldn't see how I could make it work. And what opened up for me was the moment I said, well, how can I make this work, right? And really stepping into the creative problem solving part of it is what allowed me to really step in and look at creating both ends, right? Versus like either or, and one person wins, one person loses, or side A versus side B or whatever. Just like really, really creating a both and, right? So that's number 5. And then number 6 is being intentional. And I found being intentional is very, very powerful, because being intentional also means you being effective. Like for me personally, being intentional for me means being effective, being focused, right? Being intentional, right? And so that was a big aha for me. If I love Wayne Dyer. He's one of my, I love his work. God bless his soul. He wrote a book about the power of intention. If you haven't read that book, I highly encourage you to read that book. It was so powerful. I mean, I got a lot of ahas from reading that book and really having that power of intention. It was super powerful. So check it out. The other point, I'm losing track of points, number 6, is I've realized in life throughout my journey that I am a very, very powerful manifester of different things in my life. So, and it really starts from the headspace. So it really starts from what I think and what I think. And if I put too much focus and attention on my thoughts, then it manifests into reality. And so things manifested that I wanted to happen, and other things manifested that I didn't necessarily want it to happen. But again, that's life, right? And so it really made me really aware of, okay, if this is my dream and this is what I'm super passionate about, and when I put my time and my focus and my energy and my intention and attention on that, then I manifest it. And at the same time, when I focus on things that I don't want happening, then I manifest it as well, right? And so I'm sharing this with you because as you're going about kicking off 2018 and really creating a powerful year for yourself, I'm sharing my learning experience so that you guys, again, I believe like sharing is caring, and I care about you guys and love you guys so much. So that's why I'm sharing. And so think about like the things that you're creating. Are you creating and manifesting based on the things that you want or the things that you don't want, right? So really, really hone in and check in on that, because look at your results. Are your results where you want to be? And if not, where have you putting your time, energy, attention, focus, intention, and attention? Okay, so check this out. And then number 7 takeaway is I really got what it meant, what it means to be very generous, and generous from the heart. Like really, that was another breakthrough for me from last year, is give to give, and what true generosity looks like. And I've experienced generosity in many different ways. And I will say that when I did the event, the Hell on the Hill event in Connecticut with Jesse Itzler, and I was in his presence and in his home, I really got what it meant to be super generous. I had an idea of what generosity looked like, and I've never experienced generosity at his level in my life, and that was a huge aha moment for me. Hey Michelle, thank you so much, my dear. It was a huge aha moment for me, because I was like, oh my God, he's super generous, and his generosity comes from the heart. Like, he's not only generous with other people in terms of generosity with things, he's also generous with his time, and he's also generous with himself. And so my invitation to you is to check in and ask yourself, are you being generous with yourself? Are you being generous with other people? Are you being generous with your time? Are you being generous with your gifts, right? Are you sharing your gifts with the world? Are you being generous, or are you being stingy, right? Are you being generous with your money, right? And so those are, like, generosity is across the board. So are you being selective with your generosity, or are you generous everywhere in your life? And I really check in, right? And so I really got what generosity meant. I was like, wow, wow, like I was just so blown away by the level of generosity, right? And so, again, something to consider, really something to take a look at, is being generous with yourself, generous with others, generous with your knowledge, your skills, your gifts. And then number 9 takeaway was trusting my higher self and intuition when at times it did not make sense logically. And a lot of times I will share with you that throughout my experience, a lot of things I go about throughout the day does not make sense. Not even during the day, even like when I'm planning out things for the year or for the quarter, some of them don't make sense. Like, I look at it and I'm like, logically it does not make sense. Logically it just doesn't fit logically based on my logic, right? However, intuitively, and my heart says, yes, do it, go for it. And I don't know why. I mean, it just that intuitively I'm connected to a higher, we're all first of all connected to a higher source. And it's like, are you listening to that higher source? Are you listening to that intuition? Are you listening to your heart, right? And so those are questions that I invite you to ask is, are you really connected and listening to all that? Or are you really listening to the thoughts in your head and your limitations? And I mean, I will say that from my experience from last year, I did a lot of things that didn't make sense at the time at all. However, it ties really back into taking huge risks, which is, again, being connected with your heart and your intuition. And I really got a lot out of it. And I can see now that what the actions I took, even though at the time it didn't make sense, now it does. Right? Like now it's like, after the fact, it's like, okay, now I know why my higher self and my higher calling was calling me to go to this place, or going to this event, or being at this location. Like, all of it didn't make sense at the time. However, I'm very intuitive, and I also really trust my intuition, I trust my heart. And so my invitation for you is, if you are someone who wants to have a breakthrough in that, then allow yourself to listen, because the universe is constantly giving us answers to the questions that we're seeking. The real question is, are you listening, right, to the answers that are being given to you, right? And so that's my invitation to you. And then the final piece, number 10, that I want to share with you is my final breakthrough or takeaway from 2017 is being instead of doing. And I'm a person, a lot of people who know me, they know that I'm a doer. I do a lot of things. I accomplish. I'm a very results driven, focused person. And a lot of times I forget to be. I forget to like really connect and be, you know what I mean? And so that was another thing that was a huge breakthrough for me, is to be instead of do. We're human beings. We're not human doings, right? We're human beings. So being, right? Just like being, right? Stillness, connected, right? Being intimate, being connected, being present, right? So being instead of doing. And so my focus, or another thing I also want to share that ties into being versus doing, is a lot of people confuse activity with productivity. And what that looks like is people take a lot of actions during the day, but they're not necessarily productive. And what that looks like is, at the end of the day, you want to ask yourself, did you really accomplish something? Or did you do a whole bunch of things or take a bunch of actions that led you to nowhere, right? And that's where being intentional comes in, is being intentional with your time, being intentional with your energy, being intentional with what you're creating, right? And so, again, being versus doing. Okay, so those are my top 10 takeaways from 2017. Thought I'd share them with you because I love you guys, and I hope you really got something out of it. I'd love to hear from you what your takeaways were from last year and what you've gotten and what your breakthroughs were. So if you can comment below the video, share this video if you feel this video will make a difference for people. Definitely share it with them. Love to spread the word. And yeah, love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, toodles. Bye for now.